We'll begin game number 1. And just like that, both players are ready. Let's count this one down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Now, ladies and gentlemen and Tetraminos, you already got to know Somalian in the first one. So we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves to our player on the right, and that is O. I got a little bit of information on him. Currently studying comp sci in college. Of course, comp sci, for those unaware and unenlightened, computer science. I actually started out as a computer science major back in the day. But, you know, that was back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and we still hadn't discovered electricity. Now, as far as in-person events for O, looks like, how the heck do I describe this one? Laptop emulator DAS at Loke's house. Didn't know that was a thing, but fine by me. You do you. But what we are also going to do is this drought is vicious. That was a 30-piece drought. And it's really made a wreck of O's stack. I mean, he should be able to burn out of this. But man, talk about RNG not cooperating early on. Now 30 lines in about. Looks like we're at 160,000 for the captain and 103,000 for O, who's still trying to get this burned down. And even if he opens up the right well, he's still going to have to take care of gaps in column 7 and 9. And the struggle continues as O gets the long bar right as he puts some weight on the right well. And it's just not off to the best of starts, but he could go dirty here and start to cut back into this. Right now, the paces are 690,000, hey now, for the captain, and 330,000 for O. And Tyler confirming what we have since learned. I don't know how to describe it, but I can just tell O has terrible pads. How'd you figure that out, Tyler? But yes, can confirm on the pad terribleness on the right side over there. But O has had some success here building a row off the bottom. He's gotten a few dirty Tetrises, so he's been able to chip away a little bit at this lead, which currently is 303,000 for the captain, 194,000 for O. But another drought. That one about 25 pieces. And halfway to transition, this is a 640,000 pace for the captain and a 380,000 pace for O. And Peek saying padless is the future. I don't use padless, he also says. Tyler saying padless is, if they ever release, the future. And yes, we know padless is a thing. Have any of you been able to try some of the prototypes of the padless controller? I was able to play around with one at Mini D when Opox and Ava came up. They brought some prototype controllers. It's a pretty cool thing. Probably very useful for those of you that roll as a DAS player. I don't know how useful it would be for me, but I still support the venture and love the idea as Captain sets up a 5-high I-tuck setup. But right now, that lead's still hovering around 6 Tetrises for the captain, 449K to 301,000. And Peek letting us know the future is Matcherino. Donate to that prize pool. Looking to build up those numbers. We got to pump those numbers up this season. We're at $630.69. Hey now. And we'd love to see even more from you folks. But now 100 lines in, captain with the half max, 517K to 310,000. So the lead has grown a bit, now at just under 9 Tetrises. Now, oh, once again, set up for that dirty Tetris. 2 rows off the bottom. He's going to get it. And as we come up to level 19, Captain has 3 more Tetrises in hand, as does O. And we'll see what they decide to do with these last 10 or so lines before 19. And O's going to get this board set up. Tetris ready. He does get the long bar, gets the Tetris. He's got 2 more in hand that he can use, as well as a couple of burns available to him. Does get that long bar over. He didn't think he was going to get it over, but he did. And does get the Tetris. And now, O waiting for that long bar is some Somalian transitions, 638,000. O transitions at 429,000, and he's got back-to-back dirty column 3 Tetrises. Now gets that well transition, so he is set up Tetris ready on the right, and he's going to get another. And so far, off to a good start on level 19 here for O. But this pace by Somalian is very fierce. 688,000, and he's on level 20. And he's going to get a long bar over 700,000, now on to level 21. So putting up some big numbers early. Meanwhile, O is still clean. He's going to get a Tetris, brings that lead under 200,000 points, 771K for Somalian, 554,000 for O. And apparently we've got some negotiations happening in the chat. Tyler asking for money, Peek offering friendship. And Tyler having to admit the unfortunate news that he cannot afford a 50-year mortgage with friendship. But right now, Captain's on a 1.2 million pace for heading into kill screen, so keep your eyes on that. Meanwhile, O is on just under a 900,000 pace. We'll say 890,000. But things can change very quickly here as we approach level 29. An early top out could spell disaster for either player, or maybe we could see some post-kill screen play. And look at O's green. I can read lips on that one for sure. He's saying, what? As that piece got hung. And right now, the Captain is 2 Tetrises away from a max out, as O does get this stack burned down. Now Tetris ready. 1 more Tetris for a Somalian, and he's going to have that max out as O gets a Tetris. And there is the max out, 1.022 million, excuse me, for the Captain. 740,000, both players on level 26. The Captain currently up by about 7 Tetrises. So again, I remind you, when we did our pace check back on level 22, the Captain was looking at about a 1.2 million kill screen pace. And he's still on that pace. He's got a 1.12 on to level 27. And O is trying to save this stack. He's got a long bar dependency in column 3. The question is, will he get the long bar? Long bar, of course, taking its sweet time to show up, but he does get the stack burned down. He's got 2 more Tetrises before a kill screen. And Captain's up pretty high. Can he get out of this before level 29? No, he cannot. He tops out, and O tops out as well. Neither player makes it to the kill screen, but the Captain does take game number 1, 1.133 million to 831,000. We put that heart on the board for the Captain. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. And we are off. And we had some early excitement. So wasn't even able to finish sharing our info that we have about O. So O has actually reached glitch colors. That is level 138 for reference. And makes a claim to having the fastest top out world record. You know, you might have some competition on that one. I'm sure there are some members of Club Zero that Well, actually, no. In hindsight, Club Zero members would likely not beat that record unless they're playing on level 29 starts. Now, outside of Tetris, the games that O enjoys include Paradox and Bethesda. Plays badminton. Does not have any pets. And here's what we came here for. Favorite food. Donuts. Cheerios. Anything circular. When asked if he has any favorite movies or TV shows, said The Room. And his other hobbies outside of Tetris include music stuffs. So there you go. A little bit more about Chef O, aka O. Now we're 30 lines in. Dirty Tetris for O. Score is 143,000. Make it 166K for the captain. 158,000 for O. As we're making our way towards that level 19 transition. Almost a third of the way there. We'll let you know these players are looking for transition paces momentarily. As O currently sitting at a 590,000 pace, so despite the supposed pad issues on his controller, O's looking pretty good, as is the captain, also on a 590,000 pace. So these players hovering around, looking at transitions close to 600K, maybe even more if they pick up this pace. It's not to say their pace is bad, just that if they're able to improve on it, they could get a 600K into level 19. And chat going over the potential machinations and prognostications for how the captain can get out of that last remaining spot, or that last spot for what is assured relegation. Peekayric is suggesting, maybe if Kirby gets swept his remaining matches and no shows twice, it could happen. So you never know. And yes, we do have a small and big. A little bit of a perspective exercise. It's kind of like that thing where you got the lowercase o, the dot, and the big case O, or the capital O. Yes, I know words. But we are 80 lines in at the moment. 400,000 for the captain, 391,000 for O. So yeah, we can say it. This is a neck and neck game. Less than half a Tetris separating these two. And after talking about how the captain could stay in Division 1, Ian, Keith, and Tyler are talking about how... let's see here. Looks like they're talking about how Ian Keith could pass Tyler in their respective division. But let's not talk too much, because we've got a pretty solid game going on here. Only separated by a Tetris as we're nearing 100 lines cleared. And with that one by O, we're back to within about half a Tetris. Over 100 lines. Looks like 472,000 for O, 494,000 for the captain. So this one going back and forth, currently hovering around a 1 Tetris advantage for the captain. Now sitting at 2 as they yo-yo that lead amongst each other. But coming up to transition, 3 Tetrises available for O, 4 available for the captain before they reach level 19. And O, it looks like, has done it again. Not on purpose, but it has still been done. Hangs a piece and he's going to have to burn down. That's going to take away one of his pre-transition Tetrises. And he's down to his last one. And there it is. Transitions at 559,000 points. Meanwhile, the captain could get one more Tetris. This will be about a 635 transition. If so, Make it 637. A very strong showing here heading into level 19. 661K to 595,000. Those are the scores. So we need an official ruling because the screen was hovering between 59 and 69. Is that an official hey now, or is it kind of a stuttering hey now? We might need an official ruling on that one. But what we don't need an official ruling is that the captain had a very Omenvar-like score at 666,000, and he's going to burn out of this right about now. Meanwhile, O is also trying to burn down, has the right well open, and now needs to get column 2 open to start being Tetris ready. 702,000 to 691,000, an actual hey now on the board as we enter level 22. And very shortly, we'll let you know what these two are looking like heading towards the kill screen for pace. And this is a 1.08 million pace for O. And as far as the captain, this is just under a 1.1, it looks like. Maybe a 1.09 for his pace. And a simul Tetris as both players now onto level 23. But O building dirty, not by choice. It looks like he couldn't. He's got a Phantom Z piece. Maybe he was trying to slide one in and wasn't having any luck on there. And for those of you keeping score at home, that drought counter, very much not accurate. There is no way that was a 52-piece drought when I'm seeing other long bars fall down. Oh, and O double flips that long bar, but he does get the well open, brings it down, little safety burn there. And we're only separated by about 4,000-ish points. Make it 14,000 now. 867K for the captain, 894,000 for O. On to level 26 we go, 30 lines away from the kill screen. And we'll see what O does with this. It looks like he wanted to try and get a long bar into column number 7, but he's just going to have to go right well style here and commence with the burning. Captain looking at a clean board right now. Is Tetris ready? Gets the long bar, 972 to 915. We're on level 27. About to head to level 28, actually. Thank goodness. And O with 3 more Tetrises before the kill screen. The captain has 4 more potential Tetrises before level 29, and he's got the max out. 1.04 million is the score. And O building up for this final pre-29 Tetris. He's going to get it. 995 is the score. Can he get the max out? He needs a few more burns to get it. Will the pieces cooperate? They most assuredly are not, and he's going to top out just before getting the max out. Somalian goes into kill screen with a 1.084, and that's all he's going to need. He takes game number 2. Trust that we have the seed right. Let's count it down again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris. There we go. That looks better. But all jokes aside, of course, Joe Namath is indeed in the Hall of Fame, so you have that, but that was for play back in the 60s and 70s. I'd be willing to bet at least 2/3 of our viewers here weren't even alive at that time. But right now, this is a 2-0 match in favor of Somalian. We can confirm that he is in that relegation spot. Not even the conditional relegation, but just flat-out relegation. So he will be in Division 2 next season, but he can play a role of spoiler here. With the win against O, the captain could potentially knock him out of a playoff spot. The simul Tetris early on, approaching 30 lines we go. And we're only separated by, well, we were separated by half a burned single. But not so much now. 161,000 for the captain, 152,000 for O. And we will go ahead and make our way towards level 19 as we are wont to do. Now, O's current situation is that he's in that 5th place spot. And in all likelihood will probably need to run the table to have a shot at the playoffs. But it's hard to say for sure because the people ahead of him in the standings have played fewer games. So there could still be some jockeying for playoff position between all of these players. Now a third way to transition, 690,000 transition paces for both players. So yeah, double hay now and over here. But the way Somalian is playing, that pace is going to likely grow. And who knows, dare we even say it, a 700,000 transition pace? We'll see if he gets this Tetris. He's going to be in that neighborhood. And there it is. This is a very close to a 700K pace. I'm going to say 694,000. So not quite there, but knocking on the door. Meanwhile, O is looking at probably about a 620,000 transition pace. Gets the T-Tuck, gets the Tetris. And we've got a very close high-scoring battle between these two in game number 3. Both players already over 350,000 points, barely 70 lines in. The actual scores, 394K for the captain, 350,000 for O. And both players waiting for that long bar to show up. In a bit of a drought here, 20 pieces, and it's going to end at 21. Both get the Tetris. And back-to-back Tetrises for the captain. And going back to Sentient Longbar mentioning that they're old and they weren't even alive when Joe Namath was playing. I think I was born right around the time, I think Ken O'Brien was the quarterback of the Jets at that time. So there you go. There's a name from the past for y'all to look up. Ken O'Brien, former Jets quarterback. Was part of, I believe, that famed quarterback class of 1983. The name you probably recognize the most from that, if you are a longtime follower of the NFL, is Dan Marino. But the other names you probably recognize, John Elway, he of Denver Broncos fame, and Jim Kelly, he of Buffalo Bills immortality. There were a couple of others, Todd Blackledge, Tony Eason, Ken O'Brien. But yeah, that was the 1983 quarterback class. And having said that, we're taking a look at this game coming up on level 19. O has 2 more Tetrises available. The captain also with 2 more Tetrises in hand. He gets 1. And with 1 more, he'll transition over 650,000. And O also with 1 more Tetris, he'll be around 640,000 if he's able to get a Tetris. Actually, no, he's going to have to burn in. Unless he wants to go mega aggro, which he does not. 617,000 for O, 653,000 for the captain, as both into level 19. This one's exciting, folks. Got a little spice going on here, only separated by about a Tetris as we are on level 19 speeds. Now entering level 21, still close, only about half a Tetris separating these two. 736K for the captain, 750,000 for O. And both players getting a Tetris, so that gap remains unchanged. An additional input that the captain wasn't expecting, and he's going to top out. And O is going to take game number 3, 812,000 to 762,000. I mean, this is a 1.2 million pace for whatever it's worth. 2, 1, Tetris. And a little factoid you may or may not have known about, again, just sharing all kinds of lore about the quarterback class of 1983 here. All 6 quarterbacks taken in that first round went to AFC teams. Again, you had John Elway going to the Colts. Yes, he did go to the Colts, but in a very Eli Manning, Phil Rivers-like scenario, got traded to the Denver Broncos. Then, of course, you have Jim Kelly got drafted by the Bills. You also had Tony Eason taken by the Patriots, Dan Marino by the Dolphins, Ken O'Brien by the Jets, Todd Blackledge by the Chiefs. So all 6 quarterbacks went to AFC teams that year. Now, after going down 0-2, O has taken one to make it a 2-1 game. If he gets one more, we're going to a decider, which of course means we need more points. Now 30 lines in. This one's fairly close. 166,000 for the captain, 188,000 for O. Separated by just under a Tetris. But O, maybe appropriately or not appropriately, has a O hang, or at least a spider of O's, on the left side of his stack. And it's a very Canyon-esque stack at the moment. Captain, meanwhile, nice and clean. So fresh and so clean, in fact. About a third of the way to transition. He's looking at a 640,000 transition pace. O, on the other hand, he's looking at about a 570,000 for his transition pace. Is set up, and he's going to get the dirty column 6 Tetris and transition that well back over to the right side. But not to be outdone, the captain's going to get a dirty Tetris of his own. And right now, about 55 lines in, 287K for the captain, 248,000 for O. That lead just under 2 Tetrises as we near halfway to transition. And O is in fact halfway there. 540,000 is his transition pace. 640 is the pace for the captain. As we're now close to 70 lines in the books. Captain getting a dirty Tetris of his own, and now maybe going to look to transition that well to the right side, perhaps. 75 lines down on both sides. We've got 381,000 for the captain, 318,000. Make it 340K after the Toastress for O. And y'all probably noticed this, but looking at O's score, he is utilizing pushdown points. The Harry Hong strats in full effect. And that's a clever little placement there of the T-piece to set up for that Z-tuck. Really clever move. I kind of like it there on O's side. It also maintains that efficiency so he can keep pace with Somalian. As we are now separated by about a burned single for a brief moment in time. 455,000 for the captain, 432,000. Make it 454K for O. So this lead kind of bouncing between neck and neck and a Tetris in Somalian's favor. He is set up for a Vitz. Waiting for that long bar to arrive. There it is. Now he just needs one for the Tetris. Meanwhile, O's going to get that long bar and Tetris in. So we remain, in essence, neck and neck, as both players now have the half max 500,000 on both sides of the screen. Ooh, and I think O missed the S-tuck there. So now he's got a gap. He is Dirty Tetris ready. He's going to get a Dirty Tetris. And he's set up for another one. So both players, seems that they're electing to go dirty before level 19 transition. 3 more Tetrises available for both players, although now 2 as Somalian gets a Tetris. And if all goes well, we're looking at a pair of 600,000 transitions into level 19. But that also implies the long bar is going to show up, and it very clearly is not showing up. Go figure. Right before level 19 transition, the long bar decides it's not going to show up. This drought is 25 pieces. It's still going. Who's going to survive this one? And the long bar finally comes, but it comes at such a bad time. And Somalian captain's going to top out. You need 601,000. 601,000 is what O needs to force a decider. Can he get it is the question. He is burning down. That's a great flat burn. The stack is now a little more manageable. Again, just needs about 10,000 points. And the well is open. He is hoping for a long bar. Of course, he's not going to get a long bar. Why would you get a long bar when you need it? But there is the long bar. There is the Tetris. And 4, 3, 2, 1, Tetris. And it all comes down to this. For those of you that are just joining the game here, we can let you know that Somalian has clinched relegation to Division 2, so playing the role of spoiler now as he hopes to wreck O's playoff chances with the win here in game number 5. The first match was a loss to Peekayric, so Peek is still in it by the skin of his teeth. But that could change based on how this one turns out. But early on, about 20 lines in, looks like a slight edge for the captain, 94,000 to 79,000. Hello, Rogue Potato. Good to see you once again. And thankfully, at least thankfully for me, I am done with the morning streams. Took a couple of them to help on out. And hello, Blingus, as well. Took a couple of early morning streams, and my sleep schedule is regretting that decision. I actually took a nice little power nap before the Super Show, which is probably also going to mess up my sleep schedule. Let's be real here. But now a third of the way to transition. 630,000 is the pace for the captain, and 520,000 now the pace for O. And Rogue Potato saying, as long as you know what side your bread is buttered on. Is that kind of like waking up on the wrong side of the bed? Inquiring minds want to know. And hello, Cat Vinity. How did your match against Curdy go? I saw that right as I woke up from my power nap, you were trying to get a restreamer for your match with Curdy. So how did that one go? And while we're waiting for the results of that classic Tetris bi-weekly bout between Capvinity and Curdy, 285,000 for the captain, 245,000 for O. So that lead just under a Tetris at the moment. Halfway to transition, 540k is the pace for O. And for the captain, 570,000 is the pace. Blingus got the restream, so got a little scouting report on your opposition, Blingus. How about that? And now you get to be like Bidwell at Mini D, and you get to play one of the youngins. Well, actually, you're going to be playing a youngin either way, because I know both Catvinity and Curdy are in their teenage years still. Right now, 80 lines in on this one. 362K for Somalian, 342 for O, but the captain gets a Toastress, 384,000. Now we're just raining Tetrises over here. Everyone's getting Tetrises. Catvinity will not elaborate on why he's not in his seniors. That's clearly because you're in your 20s, Catvinity. And Rogue Potato saying they're geriatrically challenged. There we go. You know, believe it or not, Rogue Potato, there are people who would disagree that I am... There are people who would actually not disagree. They would say I am geriatrically challenged. That's just because they don't know how old I really am. It's all a big mystery. But right now, we have reached the turn. This one is neck and neck for sure. 459K for the captain, 457,000 for O. But both players able to get a Tetris at that long bar. They'll bring their stacks down. O is clean. Somalian is not right at the moment. And it looks like we have a couple of O fans in the chat. We've got Cobra saying O, go O, and we had Stolen Short Sword saying it. But the captain saying, I hear your cheers and I do not care. He wants to take this one and salvage some pride in this season of CTL. All right, on to level 19 we go. 623K is the transition for O. 563 for Somalian. So once again, a race to the kill screen between these two. And Cobra having a case of mistaken identity, reading Catvinity's name as Katsugiri. I mean, honest mistake. You've seen your fair share of Katsugiri around, so it makes sense. But on to level 21 we go. 642,000 for the captain, 658,000 for O. A Tetris gives Somalian the hey now, as he was at 669,000 for a brief moment in time. Got it. Now, let's talk about what really matters. I got your name right at Jonas Cup. That's what really matters. And chat has officially gone off the rails with Catvinity chat here. We're focusing on the game. We have max out paces for both players, 1.05 for O and about a 1.08 for the captain. But both players currently riding the struggle bus. And the captain still trying to burn out of this one. O is down to the bottom, gets a Tetris. 20,000 points the difference between these two. And the question is, will the captain build dirty? That's what he looks to be doing. He is waiting for that long bar. Guess what? Shocking news. Long bar doesn't show up when you need it. How about that? But man, clean board on the right side for O. He did mention he's got this pad situation resolved to watch out, and so far he's holding true to that sentiment and has taken the lead, 805,000 to 796K. O with the lead into level 26. but it is a very narrow lead. Every point is precious here in game number 5. As O hangs a piece up top, will he be able to get out of this? He is burning down. And now entering level 28. 2 more Tetrises. Well, probably going to be 1 more Tetris available for O before kill screen. Captain could get 2 more as long as he doesn't burn any lines. Simul Tetris, 901,000 into kill screen for O. Captain going to Tetris in with the max out, 1.01 into level 29. And now the stack getting a little cattywampus on Captain's side. He needs a 5-tap. He's not going to get it, and he tops out. Oh, you have a chase down. 1.02 million is what you need to steal this decider away. But all that effort is for naught as O tops out 920,000. And yes, it is a level 39 cap, but the cap matters not. We remain unhatted here on Thursday Thunder. And there we go. We'll put it on the screen. Congratulations, O. A WinRAR is you. Tetrises as we're entering level 21. As you can see over here on the right, Peek with the clean board, waiting for a long bar to show up, gets a T-tuck. Now he's getting droughted, and the captain's got some gaps to clear out. He's got a kind of a bridge-looking thing about 5 rows up. He has it open, but is now long bar dependent. And Peek's going to bring his board down with another Tetris. He's looking at